Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're tackling something that is literally every developer's favorite superpower, and sometimes their biggest headache, authentication. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by security protocols, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to completely demystify Better Auth today and map out a really clear, step-by-step developer's journey so you can lock down your applications effortlessly.
Now, our logical roadmap today is going to mirror exactly how you'd build an app from scratch. We'll start with meeting Better Auth, move through installation and setup, handle the database, manage user sessions, look at basic authentication usage, and finally extend it all with plugins. So let's just jump right in. Section 1. Meet Better Auth, the comprehensive TypeScript framework. Okay, let's dive into this. Look, anyone who has ever built a web app knows that authentication is a notorious pain point. Right? It is so risky to get wrong, and building it entirely from scratch just eats up incredibly valuable development time. Well, that's exactly where Better Auth swoops in. It is a framework-agnostic, universal authentication and authorization framework built specifically for TypeScript. And what this means for you as a beginner is actually massive. Instead of reinventing the wheel or stressing over really complex security protocols, you get this huge, comprehensive set of features right out of the box. It does the heavy lifting, meaning you get to focus on what actually matters, building the unique features of your own application. Moving on to Section 2, Installation and Setup, from zero to authenticated. I like to think of this whole installation process a bit like wiring a brand new security system for your house. Step 1, you've got to buy the hardware, right? You just install the package using your favorite manager, whether that's NPM, Bun, whatever you prefer. Step 2, you set up your environment variables. You're definitely going to need a highly secure secret key and your base URL. Step 3 is creating your central Better Auth instance right in your codebase. And finally, Step 4, you simply mount the API handler to catch all the requests at a specific route, usually something like /API/auth. It's super clean, it's really straightforward, and honestly, it gets your core engine wired up in just a matter of minutes. Section 3, handling your database, storing the keys. So if the installation was the hardware, your database is essentially the central control panel. It keeps the permanent, secure records of exactly who is allowed inside the building. You're going to need a user table for basic info like emails, a session table to track active logins with a token, an account table for linked credentials, say if a user logs in with Google instead of a password, and a verification table for things like one-time passwords. Now, if you're just starting out, setting all of this up might sound a little daunting, but here's the best part. Better Auth includes a built-in CLI that literally generates these database migrations for you automatically. You don't have to write complex SQL by hand. It's a real game changer. But wait, here is a really fascinating twist. Let's say the mere thought of writing database migrations for a quick weekend project makes you want to pull your hair out. Well, Better Auth actually supports stateless session management. It is completely flexible enough to handle user sessions purely through secure, encrypted cookies. Meaning, you can run this whole thing entirely without a database if you want to. How cool is that? All right, Section 4, Managing User Sessions, the digital keycard. So, when a user successfully logs in, they get a session. You can think of this as a digital keycard that lets them wander around your app without constantly being stopped and asked for a password at every single door. Now, what's really interesting about this is the difference between how you handle that on the front and back end. On the client side, up in the browser, Better Auth gives you these awesome reactive hooks like use session. It actually uses nanostores under the hood. So if a user clicks sign out, your UI updates instantly, 0 page reloads required. Then over on the server side, you'll use methods like get session or a middleware proxy to securely read that cookie and verify who the user is before you hand over any sensitive data. And to keep everything running blazing fast, Better Auth uses session cookie caching. Because let's be honest, hitting your database every single time a user loads a new page is a massive performance bottleneck. Better Auth solves this right out of the gate with 3 distinct caching strategies. You can use Compact, which gives you the absolute best performance and the smallest cookie size. You can use JWT if you need a highly interoperable industry standard. Or you can go with JWE, which fully encrypts the cookie for maximum security. Basically, you keep your app super fast while keeping your security incredibly strict. Which brings us to Section 5, Basic Authentication Usage, letting users in. Okay, this is it, the moment of truth in our developer's journey. Your setup is done, the database is ready, sessions are configured. Now the actual code logic to let users in is remarkably intuitive. Step 1, you literally just call a function named signup.email and pass in the user's data. That's it.
Step 2, Better Auth automatically signs them in right then and there, which totally saves you from writing annoying redirect logic. And step 3, when that same user comes back tomorrow, you just call signin.email. The naming conventions here are so clear that even absolute beginners can look at the code and instantly know exactly what's happening.
Of course, users today expect way more than just the classic email and password combo. Thankfully, Better Auth gives you out-of-the-box support for social providers like Google, GitHub, Apple, Discord, and a bunch of others. And it makes adding them incredibly easy. You just drop the specific provider's configuration right into the social providers option in your auth file, and boom, you instantly have robust OAuth sign-ins ready to go. You don't need any deep, complex knowledge of OAuth flows to make this work. Finally, Section 6, extending with plugins, upgrading the security system.
Now, we focused a lot on beginner concepts so far, but Better Auth effortlessly scales up for complex enterprise needs too. To see how, think about this real-world headache. What happens if a user completely loses their phone and can't access their two-factor authenticator app? I mean, that is a massive support nightmare, right? The user is just totally locked out of their account. To solve this, Better Auth's two-factor authentication plugin automatically provides backup codes. These are encrypted, single-use codes that are generated and securely stored in your database the moment 2FA is enabled. The user just prints them out or saves them somewhere safe. If they ever lose their phone, they simply use one of those backup codes to recover their account. Better Auth completely handles the heavy lifting of generating, hashing, and validating every single one of these codes for you. It's basically magic. And the crazy thing is, that's just a single plugin. The ecosystem is huge. You can easily add passkeys for passwordless logins, magic links, email one-time passwords. You can add multi-session management so users can actually see where else they're logged in. There are role-based admin capabilities and even Stripe billing integration if you want to tie authentication directly to payments. You are literally adding massive enterprise value to your application with just a few lines of configuration code. So we have mapped out the entire journey today, from a totally blank slate through the setup, the databases, and the sessions, all the way to a fully functioning, highly secure auth system armed with advanced plugins. You've got the tools, and now you have the understanding. From a blank slate to a fully functioning, secure auth system, what will you build with Better Auth? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there and start coding.